Let's deal with a program to find the greatest common divisor using the concepts of recursion. A very famous algorithm called as Euclid's recursive algorithm helps us to do this particular task much more easily. Before that, let's rewind or revise about the concept of GCD using the normal variable. Suppose if I want to find GCD of A and B, we stated a rule that GCD of A and B can be found only if A is greater than B. So if 3 would have been A and 5 would have been B, then you said no. You said transfer B to A, make it as 5, transfer A to B, make it as 3, then you can proceed to next step. So when numbers were given, you first found that this is the first step of Euclid algorithm, where when A is less than B, you have to exchange the values of A and B. You took some temporary variable, did this particular task. This is step number 1. Then what it did was, when the larger number was into A and smaller number was B, you check, is this B 0? If this B is 0, then whatever the number which is stored in A becomes your GCD. So here the base condition will be, when second number is 0, end the task by saying first number as A or first number as the GCD. If not, if the first number is not 0, then what you did? You said that you will be modding these two numbers. Mod these two numbers, 5 mod 3. What is 5 mod 3? 2. So replace the smallest number with the largest value, and the replacement of second number is this 2. Again check, is this 0? No. No in the sense what you did? Again you modded 3 mod 2, the answer is 1. So this will be now its new replacement, and 1 comes to this particular place. Is this 0? No. 2 mod 1 is what? 0. Replace the value 1, come to this particular place, get the value of 0. Is this 0? Yes, 0. So finally declare 1 as the result. This is the normal algorithm which we have written. Now let's say the same algorithm into recursion, and that too using functions. Suppose if I say that I had to find GCD of say A and B. GCD of A and B will be equals to A if B equals to 0. When B is 0, you will say A is the final answer. If not, then proceed further. If not, if A is not B, check is A less than B. If A is less than B, as it is in the case, if A is less than B, then what you did? You made the first argument as second argument and second argument as first argument. You will say GCD of B comma A. So if B is 0, you will say answer as A. If A is less than B, you will again call GCD, this time by passing the second argument as first argument as second argument. Otherwise, what you did? You just call GCD one more time by passing the second number as the first number. So here, second number is first number, second number is first number, second number is first number. So second number is what? Second number is B. So you'll pass that as the first argument. So second number is B, you'll pass that as the first argument. And what is the second argument in this case? Second argument is the modulus of A and B. So it's A mod B. So simple way to remember, check second number. If it is 0, then A is GCD. If not, check A is less than B, then call GCD by passing second as first and first as second argument. If not, otherwise, if A is greater than B and if B is not 0, then first number will be always the second number, that is B, and the second number is modulus of these two, A mod B. Let's implement this in programming language now. So observe this particular Euclid's recursive algorithm. You can take a pause, make it a note on a piece of paper, and then come back and start with this particular code. Let's start the code. I hope you have this particular algorithm with you now. If not on a piece of paper, at least virtually store it in your mind and help me in writing this particular code. So I'll say enter two numbers, let's say M and N. So I'll give a call to GCD by saying R equals to GCD in a bracket M comma N. So I'll say m and n. So first argument is m, second argument is n. M goes to A, n goes to B. Oh, what is the first condition? What is the first condition? You said if first condition is this second number 0? If B equal to 0, if B equals to 0, then you'll say the first number is the answer, hence you'll say return A. If not, else. You have to check if A less than B. Is A less than B? True. True in the sense you have to call a GCD one more time by passing what? Second argument as first argument and first argument as second. Now this entire thing should be again enclosed in a return instruction. If this is true, then you'll say else. Else. So B0 return A less than B, GCD B comma A. If not, otherwise, you'll say first put return. You have to call again GCD by passing what? Second argument as first and modulus of these two as the second argument. End this particular task. You can write the prototype int GCD int comma int. So a simple way to write these functions are, whenever an algorithm is given, the left hand side is nothing but the function call, and all those values which are there on the right hand side has to be always a part of return. If you wish, we can have the algorithm for one more time. GCD of A comma B is the call, A is the answer, GCD B comma A is the answer, GCD B comma A mod B is the answer. So all these have to be a part of return. So let's put this. You'll find GCD int A int B's function. Return A, GCD B comma A, GCD B comma A mod B. All these are enclosed within these return instruction, right? So you can again make a tree structure for this as I did it in Fibonacci, or you can have an analysis with the two numbers as I did in factorial. These are some of the examples of this particular recursion process. So GCD and Fibonacci are the one which are important from the examination point of view. So observe this, have a wonderful study of these recursion functions with respect to the titles and the functions which are written in tree diagrams. So if they are written in tree diagrams, that is much more easy for us to understand. Thank you.